Hello there again, and welcome back to the Japan Game Chunk podcast. This time, we're heading to a store where we've never been before. Well, I've been there before, and actually I lived very close by, so for about a year once, and I went there many, many times. But today, it is a visit to the Guru Guru Daiteikoku. This is a Kanteidan-style store, and this one was in Yuki City of Ibaraki. Yuki City is just outside what I'd call suburban Tokyo, but it's a nice place to live. I was there previously, like I said. So, not so much actually to find there in the, how do I put this, retro section. Although they did have some things there. Notably, a few of the rarer Dreamcast games that they did have, one of which was for about 20,000 yen, crazily enough, was the a mysterious dungeon, Fushigi no Dungeon game, about the female warrior Asuka. And yeah, that's a pretty rare game for Dreamcast, and they had it there if you need it. It does look to be in good condition, and it does include the OB strip. Also there, for only 42,880 yen, wow, was the Neo Geo CD version of Metal Slug. I would expect to pay that much for the cartridge version, but no, the CD one is much more expensive, although much more expensive than the other Neo Geo CD games they had there, and also much more expensive than every other CD game they had there. Ironically enough, they had plenty of Neo Geo ROM cassette games, and these started at less than 5,000 yen. What else was there? Oh, that's right, they actually had quite a few in the Wonder Swan used games there, including the Rockman, kind of their isometric Rockman game, and some others there for the Wonder Swan. And all of these games, though, were exactly 4,980 yen, with tax about 5,500 yen. And they're all kind of rare, to the point where, they're not like the animation games, they're not the cheap ones you find everywhere, but still a bit more expensive than most places. But I'd never even seen Wonder Swan games there, and was surprised to see these. Perhaps someone just had sold their collection. Also, maybe one of the cheapest places I've seen this is the AV Famicom. This is the newest version of the Famicom, the RC cable connecting and new design and dogbone style controller. And this was complete in box. So manual, both controllers. You couldn't see the system itself. Maybe it was yellowed, I don't know, but it claimed it was working and complete for just 10,000 yen. And honestly, I've never seen it that cheaply. Well, not at least for a long time. Also, the same game, Samegame, which is really, it means shark turtle, but it's also the game where you match things that are the same. Usually this game for the Super Famicom, which I've shown before on the YouTube channel, does have a cartridge slot in the cartridge to put in a tiny cartridge. And this one changes the character set of the figures in the game. Usually you would get the game and it comes without such things, so that the only characters in the game are, little colored spots. But these ones that were at the store here, they did in fact include that little cartridge, and that's the one that was included in the original cell, when it was new. And that lets you choose then to have the Bomberman and other Hudson figureheads as the playing pieces. One thing that I thought was interesting was a Switch numbers game 1,000 yen lottery machine. So there were about 80 different numbered Switch games in the case. And beside that, there were a bunch of single Switch games in like lucky bags, so bags you could not see inside. And so you could put in 1,000 yen, and you get one of 3 tickets. One is a number, and you get that more rare game in the case. 2, you select your own Switch game that you cannot see ahead of time in the lucky bag, and you take that to the register. 3, you get a Z ticket, and here you can get a can of juice or a cup noodle or something. And the most expensive thing there, well, you can usually buy it for about 150 yen. So when you pay 1,000 yen, you're gambling for the chance to win actually just 150 yen snack. So for most people, I'd say the odds aren't really worth it, but if you want to make a YouTube video and put down hundreds of bucks in there to try to win all the good games, well then, hey, go for it. Also there was something that kind of struck me as odd. Huge package. It was the shrink-wrapped Smash Brothers game for 3DS, and the manual, the encyclopedic, huge, thick, winning guide, the Final Perfect Guide, that looks like it was probably about literally 20 times the size of the 3DS game inbox itself. And so I thought that was pretty interesting. But both these things together as one set were 1,600 yen. Very cheap. And one more thing that I saw there was that for the Switch, they had lots of those, dating games where you have, girls in maid outfits or whatever. Just a bunch of those things. All rated Z, so there's a chance for sexuality and stuff. And they had the special versions. The big box with all the extra stuff in it. Maybe figures, maybe lingerie, I don't know. But they had a bunch of those, and they were all about 4,000 yen. But it's definitely worth going to this store. Their game section is a bit meager, but they do also have a huge amount of crane games and gacha machines and, pachinko and slots and all sorts of fun stuff. Really, since the time I lived there, wow, it must be almost 20 years ago. It's always been a place where you go just to have fun. Not just shop, but you have fun. You find stuff you might like to do or you might like to buy or whatever. And, you enjoy yourself. And that's what you can do at the Guru Guru Daiteikoku, which is the only reason you need to be in that area, as there's not much around it, and really nowhere where you'd get there unless you wanted to walk a huge distance from a very minor station. So, if you're already in the area, or you have access to a car and are sort of in the area, then yes, please go see it. As on this day, was today the 4th? May the 4th be with me. Yes, as on this day, the 4th of May of 2024, these are the things I found at the Guru Guru Daiteikoku in Yuki city of Ibaraki. Kerpla.